By the way, did Prosecutor Blackwell happen to tell you anything about tomorrow's trial? In justice we trust! It's no use trying to pry more information out of me! Having just learned that the clock had been out 1 hour fast, means we're back to square one concerning the suspect's actions that day.
I wonder what the main argument will be about now.
How the body was moved would be my guess, but Prosecutor Blackwell's got his own plans. Oh, does he now?
Detective Fulbright?
Try as you might, I won't say another word about the investigation.
No, I wasn't going to ask about that. I was just wondering if you'd seen Robin.
Oh, you mean Miss Robin Newman? She was just here a moment ago. And she mumbled something about watching videos in the lecture hall.
Video? What video?
Thanks, Detective. Athena, I think we should stop by the lecture hall.
Right, let's go. There she is. Robin! Hey, Robin! Oh, Athena, Apollo!
What are you watching there?
Oh, it just so happens to be a video of the mock trial. I had to use a bit of coercion to get it, but the end justifies the means, right? There it is again. Professor Bean sure has a bit of influence around here. Care to look into the true connection between the murder and the mock trial with me? Sounds great, but do you mind if we ask you some questions first? Sure, I'll tell you anything, you W-A-N-T. About your confession today, why'd you do it? Because Juniper hasn't done anything wrong. I had to stop the trial by any means possible. Right, the end justifies the means. So you're a follower of Professor Means too? Professor Means is a wonderful teacher, as was Professor Court. I like them B-O-T-H. She brushed that one off like a pro.
But with that style of justice, you run the risk of breaking the law.
Well, I'm prepared to quit school because of this case. Well, what? Why? I want to be an artist! That's what I really want, man! But no! My parents forced me to study to become a prosecutor! But if the trial went south, you'd have to drop out and give up on being a prosecutor. That's what you're really after, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Talk about someone who literally changes at the bat of an eyelash.
I guess she's been dealing with her own problems too. That totally makes sense.
Yeah, I suppose so, but that doesn't make what she did right.
Could you tell us about what you were doing on the night of the murder?
Finishing a statue. I was on the stage until the last bell. That's right, you made the statues of Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Gavin, didn't you? Oh, yes I did. Both of them.
This is just a formality, but can you prove you were making the statues at that time?
Can I prove it? You think I'm the killer now?
No, that's not what I meant.
Both you and Robin were still at school after 7 p.m., but neither of them can prove exactly what they were doing. Could one of them really have murdered Professor Court? Have there been any problems now that everyone here knows you're a girl? No worries there. I discussed the matter with Professor Court some time ago. I told her I wanted to let everyone know I was really a girl. And just today, I found out that she spoke with the school administration on my behalf.
Well, they must really like you.
I know, right? But now I can finally be myself here at school. I don't have to hide the fact that I love girly clothes. That's why, Athena, I simply must have this and this by any means possible. What? But this is evidence we need for the trial. Sorry, but no can do. Don't be a party pooper, Athena. Come on, please. Pretty please. Oh, darn it. Anyway, thank you again, Athena. Thank you for revealing who I really am. I wanted everyone to know before the snitch found out. The snitch? Sounds like a new lead. There's a rumor going around that one of the students here is a snitch. I hear they're watching everything we do, our activities, our relationships, our interests, and reporting it all to one of the professors.
But why would anyone do that?
Officially, I heard it's to seek out misconduct among the student body. But rumor has it grades were being bought and sold through the surveillance network.
That's bribery! The situation at Themis Legal Academy is worse than I thought.
While all of this is important stuff, I still want to ask about that thing in the art room. I'll have to present some evidence to show her what I'm talking about, though. Robin, I just remembered something I wanted to ask you. This photo shows a piece of art on the table. Do you know what it is? Whoa, whoa, whoa! Look at that unique artistic sense! That has to be one of Professor Court's creations, man! Professor Court's artistic sense? Professor Court's artistic sense. That's a tough one. I'd say it's avant-garde and very eclectic. In other words, it's weird and all over the place. Come to think of it, that strange-looking painting in the art room was one of Professor Court's works, wasn't it? The statue in that photo was originally a statue of Lady Justice. Lady Justice? Professor Court had planned on placing it on the judge's bench in the lecture hall. But the day before the mock trial, it broke while she was polishing it. She said she'd take it back to the art room and try to fix it somehow. So this is the statue in its proper state? You bet! Just look at that wild silhouette. Wow, it's so C-U-T-E. I don't get it. Do you have to be an artist to appreciate stuff like this?
Athena, the Lady Justice that you put back together on that stage.
Oh, right. I didn't realize before because it was in pieces, but before it was smashed, maybe it didn't look like Lady Justice, but more like it does in the photo. But what in the world was it doing on the stage?
Well, I think that about covers it.
Okay, then how about watching the mock trial video with me? What do you say? Sure, sounds good to me. How do you want to watch it? All classroom desks at this school have their own built-in computer, you know?
Wow, this place is definitely a lot cushier than I thought.
I know you guys are in a hurry, so I'll just fast forward to the important parts. Let's start with the professor's pre-trial speech.
Good afternoon. I would like to start by thanking you for coming here today.
Oh, that sounds like Professor Means.
The mock trial, the crown jewel event of the school festival, will begin shortly.
Is the camera like this the whole time?
Yeah, it's in a fixed position in front of the stage.
When I was a student, I too could hardly wait for this day to come.
How come teacher speeches always make me so sleepy?
Let's just skip to the end of his speech.
Now, let the mock trial begin.
Hey, what's the deal here? Why is Junie so large in this shot?
Looks to me like she cut right in front of the camera.
Juniper was also in charge of the audio. Even though she was already playing a part in the mock trial itself? She had to do it to keep the script details secret. She was all over the place that day. When she wasn't in the trial, she was in the audio control room dealing with the music. Oh, so this is what the lecture hall looks like.
Looks like there's a judge's bench back by the screen and a witness stand up front. What about those balconies with the professor's names on them?
Those are the faculty seats. Professor Means and Professor Court were in charge of scoring the mock trial.
Hold on a moment. I think something may have happened while I took my 10. God fucking damn it, silent break. Fuck me. Fine. I'll keep going. Even though I absolutely despise these things. Just a moment to collect myself. Okay, let's fast forward this a bit. And that's why the defendant is definitely guilty! Ah, that was me. Could you tell? Objection! A frail co-ed used her bare hands to stab a professor with an arrow? I don't think so. Oh, you read that line in the mock trial part, Apollo, but you made it sound kind of weird. Cut me some slack. It was my first time reading that script. I think Juniper's gonna speak next. I didn't do it. I had suffered a breakdown and pretty much lost it. It's true I shouted, "You're a goner," but I didn't mean it. Wow, what an emotional performance. She put a real actress to shame. Wait, could you go back and play that scene again? You really think that's necessary? I didn't do it. I had suffered a breakdown and pretty much lost it. It's true I shouted, "You're a goner," but I didn't mean it. Stop! Did you hear that? I think you're onto something. Let's play that last part again. I don't follow. What are you guys so excited about? I think this piece of evidence should explain it. Time to show Robin a piece of evidence that links the line we just heard to the case.
Take that!
I'm sure you remember this. It contains a female voice shouting a violent threat. I'll play it for you. The voices and performance do sound similar, but I can't believe this is happening. It's just a possibility, but if the voice on this tape is really recording, one made from the mock trial video, then that means this evidence was fabricated. They didn't get to do a voice brain analysis in time for court today. That's why the gender of the voice became so important. If the real killer had foreseen that gender would become key in today's trial, he would have tried to deflect attention away from himself by making the suspect female. So basically, the only one with something to gain from doing this is our sole male suspect. Wait a second. No way! Professor Means' credo is the end justifies the means. So it makes perfect sense that a student who took those words to heart would fabricate evidence. We need to get that tape analyzed as soon as possible. Prosecutor Gavin, at least make some kind of noise when we know you're there. It's go big or go home with Rockstar Entrances, Fraulein. Timing is everything.
Let me make a copy of that tape right now, and I'll get you the results as soon as I can. I trust that would be all right.
Very much so, thanks.
Well, Athena, it's almost sundown. Isn't it about time we head over to the detention center?
I think Junie will agree that this is something that could prove her innocence, but will her heart really be open to accepting it? She had to have known this is what I'd find. And that about covers the main gist of our investigation.
I see. Very interesting. You've been quite the busy beaver today.
Thank you for all your hard work, Athena. Well, my time's about up, and it will be getting dark soon, so... Junie! You must be tired after being on your feet all day. You should go home and... No, wait! You have to listen to me! I don't want to hear any more. I know what you're going to say, Athena. Junie, you promised! We're going to discover the truth behind this murder mystery. And we're going to bring you solid evidence showing just what that truth is. If we succeed in doing that, I want you to promise that you'll accept it, Junie, no matter how hard it is to hear. Okay, but only if it's the real truth. So please just listen to what I have to say. Once you've heard me out, I'll let you decide what to do. The voice in this recording has been proven to be yours, Junie. And in the mock trial video, we can hear you recording your line from the script. We're having both of them analyzed now, but from what I can tell, the voices are the same. And the only one who would benefit from faking the voice recording would be Hugh. But that doesn't make any sense. I mean, Hugh confessed in order to protect me. This may sound strange, but his confession is a ploy to make himself look less suspicious. In other words, he was just pretending to protect you. Besides, his confession came after you and Robin had already confessed. If he hadn't confessed right then as well, wouldn't that have seemed a little suspicious? Say what you will, Athena, but none of us would hurt a fly, let alone kill someone. Hugh is a gifted student. He gets outstanding grades and never causes trouble.
Wait, Athena! My bracelet reacted just now.
It did? But why? Junie, can you look me in the eye and repeat what you just said? Oh, none of us would hurt a fly, let alone kill someone. Hugh is a gifted student. He gets outstanding grades and never causes trouble.
Now I'm sure of it. She's lying.
Gotcha!
Juniper, you start coughing when you're under stress. You can't hide it from me no matter how hard you try. When you said, "and never causes trouble," a cough escaped and made your scarf flutter. As for why you were stressed, it's because you were lying.
Junie, you're trying to hide Hughes' connection to this case, aren't you? And I believe that also ties into a secret about yourself. A secret about me? I don't understand.
I already told Juniper, so I might as well tell you. I don't really care about her anymore.
What? Why?
Juniper's not all sunshine and rainbows like you think she is.
He ended their friendship after he found out about Junie's secret, which means Hugh must have felt betrayed by Junie, making her You were Professor Court's snitch, weren't you? There's a rumor going around that one of the students here is a snitch. I hear they're watching everything we do. Our activities, our relationships, our interests. And reporting it all to one of the professors. And while fulfilling that role, you learned something about Hugh you'd rather forget. I don't know what you're talking about. Junie, please, stop hiding things from me. I hate having to force things out of you like this. Looks like we're going to have to do this the hard way. Time to review the evidence and see if I can't prove my hypothesis. I must have something that proves Junie's the snitch and Hugh's connection to the case.
Take that!
Right here in Professor Court's planner, it says routine report. I believe this is meant to mean when the snitch would report into Professor Court. I also believe Professor Court planned to meet Hugh in private based on the snitch's info. And from their meeting, Hugh must have put 2 and 2 together and figured out your secret. So you see, it all makes sense only if you're the snitch, Junie. Forgive me, Thina. I've been lying to you this whole time. The truth is, I suspected you from the start. You did? Now this is surprising. I'm so sorry. I've talked about friendship so much, but I've been a terrible friend.
Juniper, I don't have that special kind of hearing that Athena does. But I don't need it to sense the pain you're feeling inside. And its intensity is directly proportional to how you feel about your friend. Am I right?
Apollo. Please, Junie, tell me why you suspected Hugh. I have a feeling that will be the key to getting to the bottom of this whole case. What exactly was your role as class snitch? Professor Court had told me how Academy alumni had strayed from the path of justice.
The dark age of the law, huh?
She didn't want any more of our students going astray like that. A few others at the Academy shared her view.
I thought her ideas were beautiful, though sad and unrealistic.
She asked you to be her eyes and ears, didn't she? I used to report to her once a month about any wrongdoings I'd seen or heard about.
And that report session in her planner, the one from October 22nd, was a part of that?
Yes, that's when I reported you to Professor Court. She snitched on her own friend? I'd accidentally overheard Hugh talking.
What did you hear?
He was talking to someone on the phone. I think it was one of his parents.
What were they talking about?
Something about having paid money for good test scores. I only overheard him talking, so I never did find out who the money was going to.
What? That's bribery!
Hugh was buying his way through school, and if that's the case, then that evidence that always seemed out of place might actually be about his secret.
Take that!
We found this while we were investigating the stage. It's got Hugh's name on it. I didn't know what the number meant at the time, but now that I'm hearing about bribes,
it must mean that a bribe of 120 grand was to be paid in October.
What's more, take a look at this mark. That's the same mark as the pages of Professor Court's planner.
Hey, you're right!
But wait, why would Professor Court have that kind of information in her planner? You don't really think the person who was taking the bribe money was... It's just a possibility at this point, but it may indeed have been Professor Court. But...
That is impossible. She'd be the last person I'd ever suspect of accepting bribes.
Like I said, it's just a possibility, but a rather good one. Maybe their private talk had to do with the possibility of the bribery being exposed. And what started out as a little argument soon got out of hand.
It's not your fault, Junie. Anyone would have suspected Hugh if they knew what you knew.
No, I don't believe that alone would have driven him to murder. There's another reason why I suspected Hugh. You've got to be kidding me. There's another reason? I saw Hugh at around 7 p.m. the day before the mock trial. Oh, so she's finally ready to talk about that. When I saw him, his... Oh, Tina. Junie, are you alright? Just try to relax and tell me what happened.
I never wanted to see what I did. But I'll have to live with it, won't I? In that hallway, Hugh's hands... His hands were dripping with blood.
His hands were dripping with blood. What? But why? What am I going to do? Deep down, I know Hugh can't be the killer. But my mind keeps telling me he is, no matter how hard I try to convince myself he isn't. Oh, what am I going to do? Hugh, he's... I can't take this anymore. Tina. So she hid the fact that she had seen Hugh and said she went home at 6 because she wanted to avoid talking about what she saw? Junie, it must have been terrible holding all of that in. But it's going to be okay. I'll get to the bottom of this. And that's my promise from one good friend to another. I'll be defending Juniper tomorrow. If that's okay with you, Professor Means.
My main concern is whether you can defeat that prosecutor. But I won't try to stop you. I will be watching from the gallery. And I shall look forward to seeing what sort of results your methods can produce. Good luck tomorrow. Now, if you would excuse me.
Tina, I'm sorry. I really mean it. I wish I had trusted you from the start. You have to uncover the truth tomorrow. I know you can do it.
Don't worry, we already know that the prosecution's key piece of evidence is a fake. And thanks to you, we figured out the motive too. Let's give this our best shot, Athena. Let tomorrow be the day Juniper walks free.
I wouldn't have it any other way. We should be all ready now. What could possibly go wrong this time? Still, there's this strange, uneasy feeling I can't shake. I'd better be imagining it.
Were you able to sleep last night?
Huh? Oh, sleep. Sure, I slept. For a grand total of 0 hours.
Guten Morgen, you two. You look like you're ready to put on a real show. But before you do, I have a good luck gift for you. The voice print analysis came back and the results couldn't be more clear. The voice in the mock trial video and the tape recording are one and the same. In other words, the recording's a fabrication. The lab is continuing their study of the tape. So far, they found signs of overdubbing. But it's going to take a bit longer to recover the audio that was erased. Who's there? Wait!
Did you see who it was?
No, I got a quick look, but they got away. I think it might have been Hugh. I bet he was eavesdropping.
I wonder if he saw our hand. Oh, I'm sure he wasn't the only one just now. I bet Robin and Boxgirl were listening in too. I will make sure they don't make a run for it. That is my final gift to you. Ooh. Okay, all that's left now is to reach out to the truth.
Time for a mini Chords of Steel workout. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine! Your turn.
I'm Athena Sykes, and I'm fine!
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Juniper Woods.
The Sykes Brigade is totally psyched. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready as well. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Blackwell? Yes, well, moving right along. Yesterday's adjournment was unexpected yet necessary. But I'll be running a tight ship here today, so no funny business from anybody. Understood?
Your baldness, Robin Newman and Hugh O'Connor have recanted their confessions. But later I shall grill them at leisure to find whether I can charge them with perjury.
Well, this sure complicates matters. Still, one must not overlook the facts. Now, about the school camera photo that was submitted yesterday.
A pity, but that evidence is no longer relevant to this case. The art room clock runs fast. It cannot function as an accurate measure of time. As for the bungling detective who overlooked that, he is paying for his failure as we speak.
Poor Detective Fulbright. I hope he returns to work with all his body parts intact.
But if that's the case, then what will we...
The accused is the sole person who could have moved the body from art room to stage. And I mean to prove it here this day.
It's just like Detective Fulbright said. But what else does he have up his sleeve?
My understanding of this heinous crime is thus. The murder took place near the center of the art room, as evidenced by the blood stain. Blood was also found on some pottery next to the window over the maintenance area. Which is to say, the body was carried over to that very window. From there, it was dropped down to the maintenance area below. And though there was nary a scratch to the body aside from the fatal wound. That, too, was per the script. A high jump mat was employed to cushion the fall. Then, a ball cart was used to haul the body over to the stage.
That's not very clever. It's the same exact body moving scheme as the script. Anyone could have moved the body that way.
Objection! Your propensity to spew forth words before you think is not very clever either.
Why, you...
Moreover, the prosecution has a witness, which is most unfortunate for you. Witness! It's time for you to come forth.
Ahem. Well then, will the witness please state his name and occupation?
Hugh O'Connor. I'm a senior at Themis Legal Academy, and I'm studying to be a lawyer. Yesterday I told that lawyer that I would testify to the truth. So I intend to cooperate fully in today's trial. Happy now, Miss Sykes? What's he up to now?
The court appreciates your cooperation, Mr. O'Connor. Now, your testimony, please.
The lecture hall was packed before the mock trial, but the rest of the campus was empty. That's when I saw Juniper dragging a large mat from behind the stage. I was watching her from a vantage point between the stage and the maintenance area. She was heading towards me, so I assumed she was on her way to the maintenance area. But I didn't have time to stand around and see what she did after that. The real truth hurts so much, doesn't it, Miss Sykes? Or maybe you thought I was going to bring up something else entirely against your client? Never a snappy comeback when I need one.
He's coming straight at us today, using any means possible. To protect the students who had to climb up high when setting up the stage, a mat was brought over to the stage from the storehouse.
Our client is the student council president. What's wrong with her taking it upon herself to put the mat away after they'd used it?
Objection!
Oh, there is plenty wrong. There is but one mat in the entire school that could cushion a fall from such lofty heights. Ergo, the mat in question was indispensable to moving the body.
Ah! It sucks being the last to know everything.
I think I get it now. The drag marks we saw behind the stage were made by the mat. If the only mat of that thickness was where the body is assumed to have been dropped, it would be hard to deny a possible link to this case. We're off to a bad start again. You sure you're okay, Athena?
It's game on, Hugh. Game on. I'm gonna turn your arrogant perfect score grin into a teary-eyed frown of failure. So, you saw the back of the stage from between the stage and the maintenance area? Well, let's take a look at this photo taken by Miss Scuttlebutt, shall we? This photo shows the students setting up the stage the day before the mock trial. Do you see the big construction screen to the right of the stage in the background here?
Why, yes. In fact, there were a bunch of those next to my house until a few days ago, too. It was so noisy behind there, but I couldn't take a peek. Oh, how it piqued my interest.
Exactly, Your Honor. You cannot see past such screens. That is their purpose. Now, let's see. How exactly is that screen positioned again? Aha! Since it was to the right of the stage, it should be right here. And from this vantage point, the witness claims to have seen our client behind the stage backdrop.
Oh my, but the screen would have been completely in the way.
That's right. Therefore, the witness couldn't have possibly seen our client from this point.
Yow. Order! Order! Mr. O'Connor, have you been lying to this court?
The screen. Right. It must have slipped my mind. What? Are you telling me you, Mr. Genius, forget something as literally big as that?
There are two kinds of memory lapses. The normal kind you mouth breathers have,
and the genius level lapses of memory that people like me have. Why don't you just admit that it was a normal, everyday brain fart already?
Will the witness now please restate what he remembers, minus the lapses of memory?
That's easy. I was on the other side of the screen. In other words, I witnessed Juniper from the stage side of the screen.
Objection!
You were testifying that our client was behind the stage. But need I remind this court, the back of the stage is not visible from the front. To actually see our client behind the stage from the stage side of the screen, the witness himself would also have to be in the same area behind the stage. But in that case, our client would have definitely seen Mr. O'Connor.
Yow. Nice one, Athena. Keep it up.
Objection!
All right, golden boy. Is this not your chance? Telling the truth will be like a weight lifted from your chest.
The truth? What truth?
The fact that Golden Boy here was where he initially stated. That is to say, he was between the maintenance area and the stage.
Objection!
But then the screen would have blocked his view of...
Objection!
On the ground, yes, his view would have been blocked indeed. But consider how smoke always wants to rise up high.
Athena, look at the photo again. Do you think...
Something on the other side of the screen. Something high enough to see the stage.
No way! This crane right here?
But I don't remember seeing a crane there on the day of the mock trial.
Me neither, but it's probably safe to assume it was moved before you found the body.
That's far enough, Prosecutor Blackwell. Remember, you promised! I recall making no such promise. It was you who came blubbering to me about keeping quiet in exchange for information.
What's all this about a promise? Is this about whatever Blackwell is using against him? And what's it got to do with going into the crane?
Golden Boy did not go up in that crane for fun. He was working part-time as a crane operator within school grounds.
What? Do you mean to tell me a high school student was operating a crane?
The witness, I object to the prosecution's last statement. There's no proof I ever operated that crane.
Hold it!
Actually, there just might be something that proves you did.
What?
If this whole part-time job thing is true, I doubt it would be limited to a single day. You were probably working at the same site the previous day, too.
Is this what you're thinking of, Athena?
Yep, as the court can see, this photo captured the crane's operator. And if you look carefully, he bears a definite resemblance to Mr. O'Connor.
Are you serious? This is ridiculous! How very interesting. Let's ascertain whether this is as ridiculous as the witness maintains.
The defense agrees with the prosecution. Let's bring the facts to light.
That's all very well and good, but just how do you propose to do that?
The person in this photo has one really distinguishing feature. I'm not 100% sure, but it's at least worth a try. We can clearly identify the person in this photo as the witness by examining... The figure in this photo is wearing a very unique object around his neck.
Why, yes, you can see it right there. But then, are you saying you mean to...
Mr. O'Connor's neck is almost entirely concealed by his tall collar. But that's exactly why I believe this warrants further examination.
No, not a chance. That would be a blatant violation of my privacy. You are a disgrace of a man. Now start unbuttoning that collar before I hack it off.
Yeah, what's the big deal? Now, let's see your neck.
Guess I have no choice. Oh my!
So, where did you buy that neckband, if I might ask?
I didn't buy it. It's handmade and there's only one like it in the world.
Well, it sure looks like the neckband in the photo. Should we have the photo analyzed?
You are one irritating lady. Fine, I admit it. I work a part-time construction job. It has nothing to do with our school. Operating heavy equipment's no big deal for a guy who could parallel park one-handed. But I never expected one of my jobs would take me to my own school.
But when you factor in all of the required tests and apprenticeship period, wouldn't you have to be at least 20 to have a license for operating a crane?
Oh, about that. You see, I'm a genius, so, you know.
Objection!
Let us dispense with this inane charade, Golden Boy. No, Prosecutor Blackwell, please don't! High school seniors are 19 at most, thus they fail to complete the requirements. But that does not apply to you. Does it, Mr. O'Connor?
Why doesn't it apply? He's a senior, so he's around that age, right?
No, don't, please! Actually, Golden Boy here is 25. He took a 7-year break from school.
Wait, come again?
Take a gander at the official school enrollment documentation. 'Tis all right there. Ah! Yo! 25? You mean he's older than me? A 25-year-old high school student? A 7-year break. 7 years. I've just one thing to say. There are 2 kinds of 7-year breaks. The ordinary kind you mouth breathers take. And the genius kind people like me take.
Objection!
But a genius would quickly become a chore for a 7-year, break.
I think you have that backwards, Athena. Even geniuses make mistakes. I just happened to make mine only 7 years in a row.
Only Hugh could get away with using only like that.
Enough of this jibber-jabber. Suffice to say, the witness was up in the crane when he saw the accused dragging the mat. The accused readied all she needed to move the body immediately prior to doing so. That much is clear. I see no need to deliberate the matter further. Considering that the body was moved in the same manner as in the script, I find Prosecutor Blackwell's claim to be quite persuasive. Does the defense care to dissuade me?
As long as a mat was used to move the body, Junior's going to be under suspicion.
Athena, I just thought of something. What was Hugh doing in the crane right before the mock trial? He couldn't have been on the job at the time. I mean, he was waiting for the trial to start.
Yeah, why was he in the crane? Wait, you don't think... Your Honor?
Yes, Miss Sykes?
I've got it! I've got an amazing idea that will turn the prosecution's claim on its head. A little conjecture has never stopped us before.
Interesting.
Mr. O'Connor, you were using the crane to... The body was just like that in the script, so it must have been moved like that, like in the script, too. At least that's what the prosecution believes. How simplistic, even foolish.
Those are pretty strong words, Athena. You sure about this?
The witness is a licensed crane operator, so he could have used it to move the body.
Objection!
Well, Golden Boy, care to chime in? I intend to say no more on the matter. Save that this does not bode well for you.
Wait, he's on my side this time? Or is this another trap?
Watch this! I can use a bow and arrow one-handed!
Wow, that's a crazy level of dexterity. I can even drive a crane with one hand. That's easy. But operating the crane itself is so complex it requires both hands. Now, I would have the court look at this. Oh, please tell me that's a ketchup stain. You wish. My hand was injured and required surgery. That's the reason I kept my hand in my pocket all this time. I have already verified this with the hospital of treatment. Quite a nasty wound, they say. So, how did you hurt it? I see no need to discuss that. It has no relevance to this case. 2 hands are required to operate complex machinery such as a crane.
Ergo, on the day of the mock trial, the witness was incapable of moving the body by crane.
Now I'm the fool!
I'd planned on moving the crane the night before the mock trial, but then I got injured. Wanted to keep my part-time job a secret. I had to do it just before the mock trial instead. And here I thought this was the big break we've been waiting for. Now that the defense's sophistry is laid bare, I would have the court recall my claim.
The body was dropped out of a third-floor window to a mat near the maintenance area. Then a ball cart was used to move it to the stage. See? I've been paying attention.
Well done, your baldness. Now consider this. The accused was sighted dragging that mat. Ergo, it was she who moved the body.
Well, I think you were on the right track, Athena.
You do?
Yeah, Juniper remains the prime suspect if we assume the body was moved per her script. So, as the defense, you have to figure out how else the body could have been moved.
But... Oh, is he telling me to think of another way besides the crane?
Miss Sykes, if you have a counter-argument, this court would love to hear it. And if
you do not, it is time for the verdict. Isn't that correct, your baldness?
Objection!
No, not yet! All I have to do is show that the body wasn't moved like it was in the script, right?
Well, that would show that the mat had nothing to do with this case.
There is a sword of great renown that cuts down sophistic lawyers. Its name is evidence.
You don't scare me. Force a smile, Athena. You can do it.
What's wrong with your face, Athena? It's a weird mix of terror and creepy grin. Just focus on how the body could have been moved without it being dropped.
How could anyone lower it without just dropping it? It's not like it could fly. Or maybe it could. After all, there is a way to zip between the art room and the stage. Someone could have easily used that thing.
Oh, yes, of course. Miss Sykes, the court would like to see what you have for us.
All I have to do is show the tiniest shred of a possibility. The mat and ball cart weren't used to move the body. This is what was used.
Take that!
The key here is the thing that ties the art room and the stage together.
Might I propose an idea? It might do you well to tie your lips together, lest you further expose your ignorance.
This isn't exactly the time for black comedy, Prosecutor Blackwell. Anyway, the court will recall the wire on which the school banner was hung. That wire was strung between the art room and the stage, which allowed students to run or reel in the school banner from the art room. The body could have easily been lowered down to the stage via this wire.
Objection! Spare me your armchair theories. This wasn't some kind of high wire act. The body surely would have fallen. Yet there are no signs of blunt force trauma.
Objection!
Oh, you surprised me, Prosecutor Blackwell. You didn't actually think I failed to account for that?
I'm sure that's exactly what he thought.
When we investigated the stage yesterday, the bottom part of the school banner had been tied into a pouch-like shape. And pouches are useful for carrying things. What do you think this one could have carried?
Well, go on, please explain.
The body was bundled into the pouch-like section of the banner and sent down the wire. The body would have been down on that stage in a flash, and there'd be no need for a mat.
I've heard the phrase carrying the banner, but the banner doing the carrying?
Objection! I have no patience for you and your cheap parlor tricks. Your claim is as shaky as a corpse performing that absurd high wire act.
If you have an actual objection, then just come out and say it.
I trust you recall the bloodstains left on the art room pottery. If the wire had been used to move the body, it would have to be via the window above the quad, the one with the winch. However, the bloodstained pottery was next to the window above the maintenance area. Ergo, the wire and banner had not at all to do with this case.
Oh, the bloodstained pottery. I remember that.
This doesn't look good. We'll be back to the map theory if you don't do something. Well, Miss Sykes, I hope you have something better this time than a circus act.
If my wire theory is true, then that blood on the pottery must not have been... Maybe it's not the victim's blood. Did the police check to see from whom the blood on the pottery came from?
Shame on you, Sykes Dono. Have a little more respect for the constabulary. Fool Bright.
Looks like they didn't check it.
Don't let it get you down, Prosecutor Blackwell. Everyone makes mistakes.
Spare me your cheek. We will know not either way till the retests are run.
True, but in the meantime, I'm going to press my claim as far as I can.
Your baldness. I demand that the blood on the pottery be analyzed this instant.
Of course, it shouldn't take long to get the results back. Oh my, that was quick. We're history if it turns out to be the victim's blood.
Please, please let it be someone else's.
It seems the blood was not from the victim.
What?
Furthermore, a comparison with other parties involved with this case reveals that the blood belongs to one Hugh O'Connor.
Score! Don't worry, Junie. Just try to relax. His hands were dripping with blood. Your Honor, as we saw earlier, the witness's left hand had suffered a serious injury. He sustained the wound in a struggle with the victim, and his blood got on the pottery. Then, Junie saw his blood-stained hands as they passed each other in the first floor hall. It's the only explanation that covers everything.
Objection!
There is but one way now to turn aside her blade, but do not cast the blame on me. Your grudge is with Sykes Dono, for it is she who forces me to expose your secret. Fine, whatever.
Wow, how much dirt does he have on Hugh?
The court will now observe this odd-looking envelope. It was inside this that Miriam Scuttlebutt's script was found.
Miss Scuttlebutts? But didn't the prosecution already claim that this envelope is the one that contained her script?
Circumstances have changed. You see, Golden Boy had hidden this from us all.
Let's see here. My word! Talk about the world's most painful paper cut!
Indeed, you can clearly see that if this envelope is not opened correctly, a powerful spring-loaded blade will shoot forth, leaving a horrible gash upon the hand. The only one who had been told of the correct way to open it was Constance Court.
You really want to see my script that bad? Well, you better watch out. Read it without my permission, and you'll wish you hadn't.
Yikes. Miriam wasn't kidding when she said that.
The blood on the blade is the witnesses. Our genius here tried to sneak a peek at the wrong script, and paid for his foolishness.
Ouch! This guy's the worst genius I've ever seen.
Don't worry, Athena. The wound isn't that deep. We've still got the wire theory.
Yeah, I've got it. Since the blood by the window overlooking the maintenance area isn't the victim's, there's no longer any basis for denying the body was moved using the wire and banner. Therefore, the defense once again asserts just that.
You call yourself a lawyer? Don't you see the glaring contradiction in your thinking?
Huh?
The court would like to remind the witness that his role is not to point out.
And you, how can you adhere to such outdated beliefs? But whatever. It seems you've forgotten the two statues that were on stage directly below the wire. A body sent sliding down that wire would have crashed into them. Care to explain that away?
Why, I believe he's right. The statues and the wire are extremely close together.
Ah, so the body would have collided with the statues? What if they did collide? Wait, that's it! Speaking of those statues, we still don't know how they were broken. But if we assume the body crashed into them, that would also explain that loud sound we heard while we were in the waiting room.
Oh, now that you mention it. You and Mr. Wright went out to the stage after you heard that sound, correct?
Objection!
Interesting. How very interesting. But may I ask just one question? When was it that you heard said sound?
It was a little after the mock trial had started. Mr. Wright and I were practically bored to tears there in the waiting room when... Ah!
Precisely. If that sound you heard did happen while the body was being moved. That would place it during the mock trial.
Oh, which means the body wouldn't have been there before the mock trial started. You see, right before the mock trial started, I saw the body. He said he saw the body before the mock trial. If so, then my claim that the body was moved during the mock trial doesn't hold water. Stupid contradiction. It's going to get me and our case killed.
The focus was on just 3 suspects because the body was moved before the mock trial. That has been the major premise thus far. Your assertion, therefore, contradicts the very foundation of this case.
Objection!
Both sides still lack incontrovertible evidence. So, should we not also treat Golden Boy's testimony with some level of suspicion? Good point.
Ad break. But Prosecutor Blackquill is on our side. I bet he's figured out the truth behind this case.
Well, great, as long as he's not up to something else.
If the statues really were broken when the body hit them, then Hugh's statement about seeing the body before the mock trial is a big fat lie. Okay, Mr. O'Connor. let's get to the bottom of this contradiction about when you saw the body. Look me straight in the eyes and repeat your statement to me.
Like I said before the mock trial, the body was, I shall only say this once, Golden Boy. You had best tell the truth, and do it now. That is, if your head wishes to enjoy the continued companionship of your body. Nuts! Now, out with it! Did you truly witness the body?
Or were you just lying about it? Well, which is it?
You what?
I
never saw the body. Are you sure about that? Lie to this court again and I'll charge you with perjury.
There was no body on that stage. I've been lying about that this whole time. I'm sorry. Yes, we've exposed Hugh's big lie for what it is. But why would he lie about this to begin with?
Order! The base premise that the body was moved before the mock trial has been overturned. I imagine this has an impact on both the defense and the prosecution's case.
Well, first I'd like to thank the prosecutor. This brings us one step closer to the truth. Now, at least, we know the body was moved using the wire and school banner.
Indeed. That much I shall concede, Sykes-Dono. The body was moved as you stated and in the midst of the mock trial. So both sides are satisfied then? If the body was moved before the mock trial, we have our 3 suspects. But if the move took place in the midst of the mock trial, it is an entirely different story.
Right. All 3 suspects were in the mock trial. That gives them solid alibis.
Objection!
How simplistic. Did you forget about the student in charge of the audio? Amidst the mock trial, she was the one soul who could leave and re-enter the lecture hall. Well, what's this? Who is this person in charge of the audio?
Oh no, how could I forget? It was... Hey, what's the deal here? Why is Junie so large in this shot? Juniper was also in charge of the audio. When she wasn't in the trial, she was in the audio control room dealing with the music.
Indeed, the one who could enter the art room amidst the mock trial to move the body was none other than the accused, Juniper Woods, for she was in charge of the audio.
No!
Why, yes, I see. That does make perfect sense.
This can't be happening. Instead of exposing Hugh's crime, Junie's in even deeper. No matter how you slice it, we're cooked. And here I thought Prosecutor Blackwell was on our side, at least on this issue.
The Twisted Samurai strikes again.
Twisted? It's more like dirty rotten.
Your baldness. It is time to put an end to this farce. The prosecution has presented a quite convincing case. But the defense has one last chance to voice any remaining objections. Well, Miss Sykes?
Apollo, what are we going to do? I've got nothing left. Nothing. Nada. Niente.
Yeah. I've been trying to think of something, but I'm drawing a big blank too.
Poor Junie. Unless we figure out something, she'll be... Objection? Objection? Well, I object to...
Stop right there. All ears to me. It's time you heard about the rare genius of Hugh O'Connor.
Listen, you will hear the secret behind my perfect crime!
Perfect! Crime?
Wait, this is some serious deja vu. Didn't we just go through something like this yesterday?
Yes, we did. This had better not be another one of his enraging traps. The murder, the moving of the body, the cover-up, it all sprung from my brilliant mind. Well, go ahead, arrest me. The real killer is right before you. Order! Order, I say! Mr. O'Connor! You already confessed yesterday, then earlier today recanted your confession.
As if you mouth breathers could comprehend my genius, the end justifies the means. Now bow down and kneel. Kneel before my great and murdering intellect.
Objection!
Enough! The only thing maddening is the ignominy you bear for all to see. For it is impossible for you to have been the perpetrator behind this crime. There is no perfect crime, only a perfect alibi, for you were at the mock trial. And it is silly that I must remind you of this, but you were a participant the entire time. There shall be no mercy if you persist in hindering this trial with your silly little act.
You doesn't seem the least bit shaken by Blackwell's threat.
Listen, Mr. Prosecutor, calling that a perfect alibi is beyond contempt. Your Honor, I'd like to take this opportunity to offer further testimony. I will now demonstrate the very moment of genius that transcended even perfection. You won't believe this, but I used a body double. That wasn't the real me at the mock trial. That means I didn't almost lose. My body double almost did. I slipped out stealthily while my double took care of the trial. I had the run of the campus. In short, I'm the killer. Juniper's innocent.
I have a question I was hoping the defense and prosecution might help answer. Is it just me, or does the witness's testimony make no sense at all?
No, it's not just you, Your Honor. All I got from listening to that was a headache.
Yeah, that was just plain weird, especially the whole thing about a body double. Well, I'm relieved it's not just me. And the prosecution?
Your baldness. Summon an ambulance this instant. The witness is stark raving mad.
Yes, I think that would be for the best. Now then, let's pretend that never happened and move on to my verdict.
You people don't believe me? It's not a matter of not believing you. It's more along the lines of questioning your sanity.
Yeah, the funny farm just called. They want their genius back.
Shut your pie holes! The intellect of a genius transcends even logic. Besides, don't you guys have that weird device for testimony like this?
Objection!
Widget's not a weird device, and I don't waste him on ridiculous testimonies.
Easy there, Tiger. Think of it this way. We don't want a verdict to be passed just yet. So how about we give Widget a try?
Well, this is against my better judgment, but I'd like to conduct a short therapy session.
Your better judgment? I'm a judge and it's far beyond mine, yet I find it hard to say no. Prosecutor Blackwell, I trust you have no objections? Prosecutor Blackwell?
Prosecutor said, "Rubbish! We will be out on a stroll." Then left with Detective Fulbright. How does he get away with stuff like that?
Then I'll interpret that as meaning he has no explicit objections. All right, Miss Sykes, you may proceed with your therapy session.
I've seen my share of crazy trials, but this one takes the cake. Mr. O'Connor, yesterday you said that you didn't really care about Miss Woods anymore.
I already told Juniper, so I might as well tell you. I don't really care about her anymore.
What? Why?
Yeah, well, Juniper reported my secret to Professor Court.
His secret? Oh, the bribe.
She wanted nothing to do with me because I disappointed her. That's why I don't care about her anymore. I was never trying to protect her. My confession was always about one thing and one thing only, the truth.
Objection!
Mr. O'Connor, you feel great happiness in the fact that you might help set Miss Woods free. So much so that it overshadowed all of your other emotions.
What are you...
I can hear it clearly now, Mr. O'Connor. The discord you've been trying to suppress. People don't normally feel like you do when you confessed.
So Hugh really was trying to protect Juniper?
Yes, I'm sure of it. Hugh's feelings for her are the real deal. But that means his confession is...
Why, Prosecutor Blackwell, you're back. The confession was naught but lies, save for the part about being in the mock trial. Can we all agree now that the killer is the one in charge of the audio, i.e. the accused?
God, why couldn't you have taken a longer stroll?
No, you haven't unraveled the genius of my body double trick yet. You can't be serious. Do you really expect us to believe you had a body double?
Yes, yes I do. But if you think I didn't, then prove it.
Either we quit here and Juniper is found guilty, or we play along with Hugh's delusion.
Let's go with the least worst choice. But first, let me update his testimony. I didn't almost lose, you say? Very odd. You exhibited happiness the entire time, except during this statement.
You don't know when to give up. Wait, now that I think about it.
No, don't. Stop making stuff up.
When I left the lecture hall, it was during Professor Mead's pre-trial speech. That's when I moved the body. I then slipped back in just before the verdict.
So you're saying you were there the moment your double was about to lose?
Yes, I was. Naturally, I wasn't happy when I saw that.
In any case, I was at the far end of the lecture hall behind the screen. I figured no one would see me if I came and went through the doors there.
Objection!
Sykes, Dono, how much longer will you indulge him in this charade? While it's true that none in the audience might see him go through either of those doors, the faculty seats on the balconies are a different story and have a splendid view.
I thought you could do better than that. The lawyer's bench is on the right side when facing the front of the hall. I use the doors to the right side near the lawyer's bench. That means my movements were only visible to someone on the left in the left balcony seat. But that seat was empty at the time, which is only natural. After all, it belonged to Professor Court, and as we all know, she was already dead by then. That can't be right. An empty balcony seat on the left side contradicts this piece of evidence. I have no idea where this contradiction is going, but I don't have any other moves at this point. Guess I'll just have to follow it and see where this takes me. You said the left balcony seat was empty, but was it really? I saw with my own eyes, it was definitely empty. But what about this diagram? According to this, Professor Means was supposed to be seated in the left balcony seat. But if you left the lecture hall during his pretrial speech, he would have been sitting there at his seat addressing the students and faculty. Gah! No, this can't be right!
You do no one any favors by exposing the falsities of his confession.
I've told plenty of lies so far, but this part is true, I tell you. There was nobody in the left balcony seat. You gotta believe me. It doesn't seem like he's lying this time. Okay, Mr. O'Connor, let's have you testify again, but this time, don't spare any details. You got it. I'll repeat it as many times as you'd like. I mean, my ingenious escape act warrants repeating, considering I'm the real killer. All I really care about is whether that seat was empty or not. The second floor was deserted. Why won't you believe me? It's true, I tell you. I went out through the back door without anyone noticing. Then, all I had to do was go through the empty audio control room. It leads into the hallway, so I was perfectly capable of moving the body.
Got it!
I detected powerful sadness and fear right after you said this part. It's as if you'd said something you shouldn't have. What's wrong with you? You shouldn't reveal a person's inner feelings for all to see. Mr. O'Connor, it's you who is revealing your inner emotions by the way you speak. Plus, I have a good idea about why you're feeling sad. Ah! You're a horrible person! Can't you just leave me be? You said that you went through the empty audio control room, but that's not true, is it? There was someone who returned from there once Professor Means finished his speech. And that someone who was in the audio control room was...
Take that!
I know you realized there was a problem with your statement as you were saying it. That's why you felt so uneasy, if the audio control room really was empty. That would mean Miss Woods was roaming around the campus. Ah! Mr. O'Connor, if you really want to protect Miss Woods, just tell the truth. If you believe in her, revealing the truth is the same as protecting her. Juniper's innocent. That's the truth. But in this dark age of the law, the truth can be easily twisted to serve anyone's needs. When the end justifies the means, your only choice is to fight back with lies. Hugh's heart won't hold out under this battle between truth and lies. Is there something I could do to make him recant his false testimony? I fear nothing now that I've lost everything. Go ahead, Prosecutor Blackwell. Cut me down if you wish.
I thought you'd never ask. With you gone, we may swiftly proceed to a verdict.
Yeah! Oh! He broke out of his shackles again! I don't want to be the poor accountant down at the detention center.
Hugh O'Connor, in deference to your valor, I will limit your suffering with one clean blow.
Hold it!
Could you wait just one moment before you cut him down?
Silence!
Do not come between a samurai and his foe, Sykes-Dunno.
I never learned about this in law school. Careful, prosecutor. Remember that shocking experience you had last time.
Very well, Golden Boy may live, for now.
Enough already, Mr. O'Connor. Miss Woods would never want you to protect her this way. She values the friendship between the three of you more than anything. That's where you're wrong. She doesn't feel anything for me now. Well, what does it matter anymore? I might as well tell you everything. This is no doubt news to you, but I am not and never was a genius. Sorry, but I already knew.
Me too. And don't forget me, though in all fairness, it was pretty obvious.
I thought he was a genius at first, but
The stuff he said was crazy.
No need to rub it in. Just shut up and listen. It all started several days ago. I accidentally learned that my parents have been paying good money for my grades.
But that's bribery.
So the bribery wasn't Hugh's idea? All of my perfect scores were the product of cold hard cash, not genius. Even worse, when I confronted my parents about it over the phone, Juniper overheard me.
Oh my, what a terrible misunderstanding.
I've been living a lie. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm no genius. I'm completely worthless. A perfect 0. Hugh. Even so, I still wanted to make it up to Juniper for disappointing her like that. That's why I wanted to clear her name by pinning the blame on me. I mean, she probably hates me now, so it'd be a relief for her to see me locked away.
If you were trying to help her, then why did you testify against her?
You were the ones who told me to tell the truth yesterday. So I thought if I did, it would help her. He wasn't trying to provoke us?
It looks like we seriously misunderstood him, in more ways than one.
At the detention center yesterday, Junie was in tears when she opened up to me. But the truth is, the friendship between the three of them is still rock solid. If there were something that could help me prove that to Hugh.
We even have proof of our friendship.
Yeah! As long as our friendship lasts, you can bet we'll be carrying them around! I know! What about that proof of friendship they mentioned? I wonder where or what it is. I didn't buy it. It's handmade, and there's only one like it in the world. Maybe it's... No, that's definitely it. That band around his neck. Mr. O'Connor, that band around your neck, that's your proof of friendship, isn't it?
Proof of friendship? Is that anything like a proof of purchase barcode?
In court, evidence is everything. That's why the three friends created friendship bands. It's the evidence that proves their friendship.
Ho ho, how very interesting. And chic.
If they have doubts about their friendship, they can look to the proof they have on hand. That's why Mr. O'Connor's hand always goes to his neck when he is pressured. It proves he still has feelings of friendship towards the other two. It doesn't matter if I wear it if those two...
Objection!
But they feel the same way too. I know they wear their friendship bands somewhere. Junie and Robin must both feel the same as Hugh. I just know it. Everything Hugh has said leads me to believe that. In fact, he may have also just told me that the others wear their proof of friendship. All we have to do is think back to their testimonies. Ready? Miss Newman holds her arm when pressured. And Miss Woods holds her wrist. I know Miss Woods very well. She would never abandon her friendship with you over something like this. And taking the blame for her will only succeed in making her terribly sad.
Robin, those bands of friendship that you made, just for the three of us. You may have forgotten about them, but not me.
He makes it sound like the most stressful yawn. Sorry.
Hugh!
Ah.
Hey, Hugh!
Okay.
And to think, I should have known better than to doubt my best friends.
Now here's the question, though. Those were all solid single pieces. How did they get them on? Specifically, like the arm and the neck. I didn't kill anyone, and I didn't have a body double. I didn't move the body. I didn't even see it, and it may look like I'm speed reading Zen in the Art of Mastering the Bar exam, but I haven't read a single word. Well, you could have fooled me. In fact, you did.
Hugh. So, Miss Sykes, can I place my trust in you? I'm going to save Junie, so yes, you can place your trust in me.
Then am I to understand that the witness is recanting his confession?
Yes.
A most roundabout trial. I much prefer the turnabout variety myself.
Judge you easily be fooled? Yes, but that's why we love him.
Now we are back to the fact that there was but one suspect who lacked an alibi. Which is, in the end, the truth you've been seeking this entire time.
So we're back to square one? Now I'm exhausted and depressed. It probably doesn't matter at this point, but I might as well update the moon matrix. Let's see for that anime, see why I said, yeah, I got what you meant. Huh? Does this mean...
Further resistance is futile. The time for a verdict is nigh.
Objection!
Please wait!
What sort of devilry are you up to now?
What if our client wasn't the only one without an alibi? The trial would continue, right?
Well, yes, I suppose it would. But after such a thorough investigation, does such a person really exist?
Yes, we've found someone. It may have seemed like a major roundabout out. But Mr. O'Connor's testimony has cracked this case. There's no more noise. Hugh is telling the truth now. During the mock trial, the balcony seat opposite him really was empty. Which now means that there is one person unaccounted for. Also for the arm one, it's not hard, just it's a different size for a body part. Neck one, I don't know, it's similar. Exactly! Like I suppose the arm one, thinking about it, yeah, also is fine if it's made big enough. His neck one makes absolutely no sense for being that small. If it's a single solid piece. But anyway, the pursuit is on! Besides Judy, the only other person without an alibi during the mock trial is...
Take that!
The balcony seat was empty. That much is true, isn't it, Mr. O'Connor? That's right. How many more times do I have to say it? So basically, Professor Means wasn't where he was supposed to be during the mock trial.
Silence!
Need I remind you, every last soul in the lecture hall heard him deliver his speech.
Objection!
I know, and that's not in dispute here. Now, let me explain how a speech could be given from an empty seat. It was... What if the speech was pre-recorded? That's the only way the speech could have been delivered from an empty balcony seat. Wait, are you accusing Professor Means? That's insane! I mean, he's the one who gave me the tape recorder. Take this to the police, he said, and tell them you found it. What? Really? Wait a second. Mr. O'Connor, did you just say that Professor Means gave that phony recording to you?
Phony? The defense will refrain from hurling unsubstantiated allegations.
Well, I said he gave it to me, but what do you mean it's phony? Wow, who could have seen this development? The voice shouting, "You're a goner," as recorded on this tape, was dubbed onto it using a line our client said in the mock trial video.
Why, this is an extremely crucial piece of evidence.
Professor Means gave you the phony tape. Cloudbeard. Yeah, one way to look at it. If that's really true, then Professor Means has guilt written all over him. Your Honor, the defense moves to call Professor Aristotle Means to the stand.
Silence!
The seat was never empty. 'Twas but an oversight by our dullard of a witness. An inmate who was formerly a surgeon once told me something. He said it's often all too easy to overlook critical symptoms.
Objection!
Well, we're not going to overlook this oversight. If the speech was pre-recorded, the basis for suspecting our client would be shattered. Let's check with Professor Means and see whether the empty seat was a witness oversight. A verdict without first looking into that would be inconceivable.
That's enough, both of you. Now, here's my opinion on the matter. While a surgeon overlooking critical symptoms is a problem, a witness's oversight, too, must not be overlooked. Thus, as to the matter of whether Professor Means was or was not in his faculty seat, I believe we must ask the professor himself.
I agree. Professor Means should be here in the gallery today.
Do as you please.
Will you please state your name and occupation for the record?
Certainly. I am Aristotle Means. I teach the lawyer course at Themis Legal Academy, and let me add that while I welcome any opportunity to assist with the trial, I don't care for this undue suspicion.
Don't worry, Professor. We're just interested in the mock trial video right now. We just need to take another look at that speech you gave. Can we count on your cooperation in this?
Very well, if that's all you're interested in. Please proceed, Miss Sykes.
Living people engine angel. Bust of like a marble bust, more like, but yeah, it's a close enough material.
We need to find some sort of evidence that shows this speech was pre-recorded. All right, I believe we're ready. Let's roll the video.
Good afternoon. I would like to start by thanking you for coming here today. The mock trial, the crown jewel event of the school festival, will begin shortly. When I was a student, I too could hardly wait for this day to come.
Oh no, I'd forgotten how long and boring his speech was. Zzz.
Wake me up once this is over.
Hey, no fair.
The experiences of our youth have a powerful, profound effect on our adults. Ah, you there! Wake up! Pay attention!
Huh? I'm awake! I'm awake! Isn't that right, Your Honor?
Huh? What? I'm awake too! Wide awake, see?
Once again, our pure white Lady Justice will be watching over all of you today. Pay attention and you may make a difference one day. Now, let the mock trial begin! That is about it. One of my better speeches, if I do say so myself. I even saw some of our students with tears in their eyes.
He's obviously not familiar with the phrase bored to tears.
Listen, Sykes-Stono, if you have subjected me to this epic study in tedium without purpose, Taka will feast on your tongue after I've cut it out.
But you were asleep the whole time!
Well, Miss Sykes, did you notice anything strange about that speech?
Can I please hear that last part again?
Once again, our pure white Lady Justice will be watching over all of you today.
Hold it!
There! I finally found what we needed! Professor Means, I have only one question about your speech. Why does that last part we just heard contradict with this?
Take that!
The professor said the pure white Lady Justice would be watching over them. But the Lady Justice in the video isn't even close to being white. It's as gold can be!
I'm not sure I can wrap my jaw around that to test its authenticity.
I didn't say it was made of gold, Your Honor. Now, it's true that this statue is pure white. But it broke before the mock trial began. The one you see here is its replacement.
Oh, well, that's a shame on every count.
Ironically, this golden statue sticks out like a sore thumb compared to the white one. Meaning the professor wouldn't have made a mistake in its color if he'd been present.
It seems that I have caused some confusion, but it was merely an oversight on my part.
Objection!
The statue was in the middle of the room. How could you not know what it looked like?
Well, I was in a balcony seat. Furthermore, the statue had previously been white.
I'm afraid this isn't sufficient evidence of the speech being pre-recorded.
We had our answer long ago. The accused was the only one to leave the lecture hall.
No, wait! There's got to be something that can prove that the speech was pre-recorded.
According to the mock trial video, the speech started here and ended here. It was a little over 10 minutes, but I doubt anyone wants to be tortured again.
It was only a little over 10 minutes? It felt like it went on forever. How'd you figure out how long it was?
Easy, there's a timestamp in the top right. All you have to do is subtract the time the speech started from the time it ended.
The speech goes from the 10-minute mark to 20:35. Wait a second. I could swear I've seen the same interval of time listed among the evidence. Maybe there's a way for me to use the speech time to show that it was pre-recorded.
Take that!
I would like the court to take a look at this.
And this is...
the voice print analysis that proves the voice on the tape recorder belongs to our client.
Yes, but didn't we just establish that the voice on the tape recorder was a fabrication?
We did, but what I'd like to focus on is the noise that is also there.
Noise?
Yes, the defense believes it resulted when the tape's previous recording was erased.
And what do you hope to prove by that?
The length of the noise is what's important. It's 10 minutes and 35 seconds in all. And what did the timestamp read at the moment Professor Means began his speech?
That would be exactly 10.
Now, let's fast forward this long-winded exercise in boredom to the end. Okay, stop. The video timestamp now reads 2035. Based on this, we know the time it took for the speech alone.
Right, subtract 10 minutes and you get 10:35. 10 minutes and 35 seconds?
Right, 10 minutes and 35 seconds. The same as the noise on the tape recording. I assume you all understand what this means. Professor Means' pre-recorded speech had been where the noise is now.
Silence!
You seem rather confident considering this is a mere happenstance match of numbers.
Objection!
But is it really just numbers?
The lab is continuing their study of the tape. So far, they've found signs of overdubbing. But it's going to take a bit longer to recover the audio that was erased.
The police are analyzing the noise as we speak. It won't be long until we know what was originally there. Now I'm sure of it. The professor was trying to create an alibi with the recording by pinning the crime on Junie. Well, he's not gonna get away with it. Not on my watch.
Miss Sykes? I believe you are well aware of my methodology. Even if Juniper were the perpetrator, I would vigorously defend her as per my word. And to that purpose, I offered to be her lawyer. Alas, look what's happened.
All I've stated are obvious deductions derived from evidence and testimony.
Truth be told, I had no intention of testifying. I had been keeping quiet for Juniper's sake. But now that you cast this blame upon me, I have no choice but to reveal the truth.
Uh-oh, this doesn't sound good.
I will now reveal the truth behind why I had to pre-record my speech before the mock trial. I, Professor Means, always say what I mean and mean what I say by all means. The defendant came to me with what she said was very important and, by necessity, secret. She asked me to pre-record my speech and come to the audio room during the mock trial. Juniper confessed to the murder and asked that I get her declared innocent in court. She also said I'd become an accomplice after losing my alibi due to the pre-recording. But when I said I would protect Juniper, I meant it because it's the humane thing to do.
Oh my! So you're saying the defendant threatened you?
This has to be a lie. I mean, everything about it lines up too perfectly to be true.
On this most consequential of occasions, let me be completely frank with you. Juniper has truly taken to heart my teaching that states the end justifies the means.
I don't believe you.
When she asked me to defend her, she said I must also prove her two friends innocent.
Her two friends? The witnesses?
Correct. Hugh O'Connor and Robin Newman. I was to ensure all three walked free. All three were to achieve their dream. That was the result Juniper was seeking. And she was even willing to threaten me, her own professor, to that end.
You no doubt had high praise for her ruthless tactics.
Yes, well, that is why I vowed to vigorously defend her despite her threatening me. There was a time when lawyers merely sought the truth if they wished for victory in court. But alas, those days are over. Now, in the defense of justice, order, and all that is good, the end justifies the means.
I am so sick of hearing that phrase.
Though it truly grieves me so, I must tell you this. Forsake the truth if it's victory you seek. Steel yourself for this new courtroom reality.
That does it! He's gonna regret dragging those dismal, depressing ideas in here. Since he's already surrendered to the dark age of the law, it's up to me to fight it.
Why so silent, Sykes-Dono? Something the matter?
This is a court of law. It's no place for long-winded talks about idealistic principles. That's why I'm going to let the evidence do the talking.
Let's not get carried away now, Miss Sykes. It will not do to have you attempting to discredit my doctrine. Do not force me to rectify this situation.
No, go ahead and rectify it. Only if I lose and you win, that is. So let me get this straight. You were trying to help Miss Woods? Ha! That's nothing more than a bald-faced lie. No offense, Your Honor.
Such defamation of my character and your hair follicles, Your Honor. It is an outrage.
Miss Sykes will clarify her statement, but leave my hair follicles out of it this time.
Yes, of course, Your Honor. Now, please take a look at this. The witness gave this tape recorder to Mr. O'Connor. Then he slyly whispered, "Take this to the police and tell them you found it."
There was no whispering, slyly or otherwise involved. I simply did that out of kindness.
Objection!
The tape contained our client's voice. In short, it is incredibly damaging evidence. Why would it even exist if the witness wasn't trying to pin the murder on our client? They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but not yours. You never had good intentions, only lies to protect yourself while blaming another. You, Professor, are the embodiment of the dark age of the law.
Why, you little... You dare call my teachings and methods lies? Themis Legal Academy is a proud institution. It's the most powerful in the world. You'll never forget what true education and lawyering means once I'm through with you.
Huh? Professor Means? What's with your hair?
Quiet! No talking in class!
Ow!
Eyes and ears up here, everyone! Homeroom is now in session! We will begin with roll call. Athena Sykes!
Huh? Oh, here?
Apollo Justice!
I'm fine! Here!
Fool! The proper response is here, without any extraneous information!
Ouch! Here!
Next, Your Honor!
Here!
See, class, that's the proper way to answer. Simon Blackquill! I said Simon Blackquill! Are you here or not?
There's always one, isn't there?
Well, then I'll just mark you absent. Now, get out of my class this instant!
Get out. Very well, if that is your wish. Who am I to defy my homeroom teacher? Is that such a good idea? Prosecutor Blackquill is free of his shackles. It just so happens I was a member of my high school's disciplinarian committee. But is that really so shocking?
Constabulary lapdog to teacher's pet. What a malleable mutt you are, Fool Bright. Very good, Bobby. You just earned a gold star and a promotion to head disciplinarian. All right. Class is now in session.
Why do I have the sudden urge to go to the nurse's office with a stomachache?
Pay attention! I am not the killer! Juniper is!
It might be trying to mimic the helmet design, but yeah, not exactly like something that was popular in Troy, I think. Definitely trying to be like a Legionnaire helmet look.
This will be on the next test, so you had better be listening.
Objection!
But Professor, you created the phony tape to pin the blame on Juniper. Assuming the helmet reference, yeah. Plus, you were the only one who could have moved the body during the mock trial.
Athena, you disappoint me so. To think you would label me a murderer. Now pay attention. The murder occurred on the 23rd between 6 and 8 p.m. But I was already at home by that time, so how could I have been involved in this crime?
Objection!
Professor Means, can you really prove you had already gone home by that time?
Can you prove that I was still at school?
No, I can't.
So you admit it. Well, you just earned extra credit for your honesty. But you have also earned yourself lavatory cleaning duties until you graduate.
Ew! I do enough of that at the office. No way, man! I totally object! But Robin? I can't believe I fell for the professor's silver-tongued lies.
Why, you? How dare you talk about your teacher like that?
I'm not listening to you anymore, man! No way, no how! Now, I have a confession to make. You know those two statues that were on stage? I didn't make them all by myself! The statues on stage? Do I want to know where this is headed? I was able to finish one of them, but the last bell rang before I had time for the other one. So, I asked Professor Means to make it for me. Yeah, Newman's fun. In other words, the professor was there on the stage after the last bell? Right, and it would have been way past 7 p.m. before he could have finished.
Professor Beans was still at school? This is incredibly important testimony.
The professor told me I'll take care of it. I thought my parents would let me be an artist if I said I made both statues myself. I'm so sorry for not telling the truth. Oh, it's a hell of a lot of fun. But hey, you've joined in on our Discord ones a few times, remember? Robin.
Quick, somebody get this juvenile delinquent out of my sight! Simon, you're head honcho among the delinquents. Do something! Yeah! And who's in charge of the class pet around here?
Not interested, but if you want a class in swordsmanship, I'm your man.
Fun YouTube miniseries? I know, it's my dream. It's my dream to get just a whole group of people to do an honest read through this.
Of course, only real blades will do.
No swords at school. All weapons will be confiscated. Yeah! Nurse! Nurse! Where's a school nurse when you need one?
It would seem Sykes-Stono seeks a showdown, Professor. In which case, you would do well to draw your staff quick as lightning.
Very well. Then I will just have to prove my innocence myself.
You are not gonna live that down ever.
The real lessons begin in second period. Prepare to be served, old school style.
What does that... Oh, never mind. Your testimony, please.
Now pay attention. Robin took over half a day to complete one statue. I, however, finished most of the other statue between 7 and 8:30 p.m. The defendant, Juniper, saw the two statues with her own eyes at 8:30 p.m. Completing a statue so quickly meant I could not leave the stage for a single second. How could I have possibly had the time to go to the art room and commit murder?
Well, I feel like you'd have to be done with your courses first before we can really get talking about it.
You're saying the defendant saw the finished statues?
Precisely. She said so herself at the detention center yesterday. Her defense team was there and heard her say so too. Don't try to deny it now.
That evening, I went back to my dressing room to get something I'd forgotten there. It was well after the last bell rang. I'd say maybe around 8:30. That's when I noticed that both stage statues were finished. They were quite large and they were each covered with a white sheet, but I could tell. Oh, right. The professor was there when that matter came up. Before I address the professor's charges, I have a question for Robin. How hard would it be to complete a statue like that in 1.5 hours? It would probably take me at least twice as long. So personally, I think it would be incredibly difficult to finish in that short a time. Gah, that didn't exactly help our case. But he won't get off that easy. He's bound to stumble over his own slippery means. Why were you in such a hurry?
In the legal world, your body is your capital. The early bird gets the worm. That's why I get to bed at 9 p.m. each and every night. And that's why I was working as fast as I could. I didn't want to miss my bedtime. Well, ready to concede that I never left the stage?
Well, Miss Sykes, do you accept the witness's claim?
I've tried everything, but I still can't prove anything. I guess I concede.
I couldn't hear you. Say it louder this time.
I concede that Professor Means never left the stage.
That's right. But what took you so long? I was there at the stage the entire...
Oh, ad break.
Okay. I was there at the stage the entire time. I couldn't possibly have committed that crime.
I'm not gonna give up here.
I'm afraid I have to side with the witness, Miss Sykes. And unless you have any further objections, I'll have to put this issue to rest.
Objection!
Not yet. The defense still has an objection.
Athena, you've thought of something?
Well, as I said, not yet.
Oh, so it's time for illegal smoke and mirrors?
Not yet, Athena. It's not yet time to quit. It's at times like these when it seems like there's no way out that you have to... Yeah, I have to turn the case upside down. Instead of focusing on whether Professor Means could have gone to the art room, I should focus on how he could commit murder without going there.
It seems our young lady has a real bona fide idea. But I'll use any means necessary, even casting stones, if it'll distract her. Ah! Who brought the bird to school?
Sykes-Dunno, if I hear one word of your usual jibber-jabber, I shall have your head! The murder occurred in the art room, yet the witness was on the stage. How do you propose to fill the vast gap between these two key facts?
If I accept the premise that the professor was on the stage the entire time, then the only answer is that we got something else wrong. Wait, that's it! Every last one of us made a huge mistake. We were totally wrong about the... If Professor Means was on the stage the entire time, then he must be the killer.
Ridiculous! The defense has become utterly incoherent.
Objection!
No, it's just the murder wasn't committed where we thought it was.
Continue, Sykes-Dunno.
Okay, the murder was actually committed here.
Take that!
The greatest riddle of this case has been how the body was moved from the art room. But if the murder occurred on the stage, that means the body was never moved at all.
Silly girl! When the body was found, there wasn't a drop of blood on the stage floor. Surely there would have been some blood if that's where the murder was committed.
There wasn't any blood on the stage? Really? But there was something on stage at the time of the murder that's now bloodstained.
Take that!
It's true, there were no bloodstains on the stage floor. But there was something on the stage that did have a bloodstain. And that would be this school banner. No blood would have gotten on the floor if this were under the victim when she was killed.
Oh my, that's quite a compelling theory.
Silence!
What is it now? My theory makes perfect sense.
That was a pathetic attempt. You must put every inch of your body into your attacks. The autopsy states the cause of death was loss of blood. Yet only a trace amount was found upon that banner. Where did the rest go? Blood getting on there when the body was moved by wire makes more sense than not.
Very good, Simon. Tell me, what's your first choice for higher education? I'll write you the ultimate in recommendation letters. You're all but guaranteed to get in.
Objection!
Actually, the defense has something to explain that as well.
You do?
If there was only a trace amount of blood on the school banner, then there must have been something else the killer used to soak up the blood. All I have to do is figure out what. This is what soaked up most of the victim's blood.
Take that!
Why, it looks like there's some other piece of fabric on top of the school banner.
It's the Governor's banner that had been specially made for the school concert. Since it's on top of the school banner, the blood would have hit it first. It could have easily absorbed most of the blood like a dishcloth. And only a small amount would have soaked through to the school banner below. So, it makes total sense for the school banner to only have a little blood on it.
So that banner absorbed the blood like a dishcloth. Yes, that would explain it.
The Governor's banner was like a dishcloth? Surely it was at least towel quality.
Simon, don't just stand there. Do something.
Silence!
Sykes-Dunno, you are learning to wield the blade quite well. But how will you respond when I come slashing at you like this? The remnant of a large bloodstain was detected in the art room.
But why would there be blood there if the murder occurred on the stage, as you claim?
Objection!
The blood stain in the art room was faked. How? I'll tell you how. All that was needed was something that could transport the blood upstairs. And that something was a piece of evidence we've just finished discussing. The killer used this to bring the victim's blood up to the art room.
Take that!
To think you'd stoop so low as to present mere garbage to this court.
It's only garbage because someone tried to destroy it by tossing it in the incinerator. That someone was most likely the killer seeking to get rid of crucial evidence. The killer used the wire to bring the blood-soaked Governor's banner to the art room. Then, the blood was wiped onto the floor to complete the ruse. It makes perfect sense.
Ah!
Order! Order! This is quite a development. To think the body was never actually moved.
Hold it right there! The body must have been moved! How else do you explain that loud crash you heard during the mock trial? If it wasn't caused by the body crashing into the statues, then what was it?
I hadn't thought of that. If that loud crash wasn't the body hitting the statues, then what was it indeed? The knot in the school banner shows that something was carried along the wire in it. So if that's true, I know what I have to find. Something that was in the art room before the murder and then on the stage after. The object that was sent down the wire to crash into the statues was...
Take that!
Ah! That statue?
Yes, I believe it was this statue that broke the other two, not Professor Court's body. The unique statue you see on the right, that's the pure white Lady Justice from earlier. Professor Court accidentally broke it while she was polishing it the day before the mock trial. But she used her own unique artistic sense and technique to repair it, as you see here. Nobody would have guessed that it was originally Lady Justice.
Silence!
Perhaps you are onto something. But why, pray tell, would anyone move that scrap heap relic in such a tedious manner?
Excellent question, Simon. Keep them coming.
You know why, but the fact that you won't acknowledge it shows how twisted you are. Lady Justice was moved during the mock trial. During that time, Professor Means was fabricating an alibi with his pre-recorded speech. If we consider the facts, then Lady Justice was moved in order to... Professor Means used his pre-recorded speech to fake an alibi during the mock trial. He wanted to make it look like he couldn't possibly have moved the body. Moving Lady Justice was his way of pointing us to the body and cementing his alibi.
Yeah!
That's quite a persuasive argument. For a while there, I thought you weren't taking the trial seriously. Well done.
You should never underestimate me, Athena Sykes. Professor Means always means what he says and says what he means by all means.
Fine then, say it already. I'm waiting.
The murder occurred the night before, but the body wasn't found until late the next day. Countless students passed the stage until they met in the lecture hall for the mock trial. So answer me this. Why didn't anyone see the body that entire time?
That can be explained by,
If the victim was murdered on the stage and left there, the body would inevitably have been discovered. And, of course, there was nowhere to hide a body upon that stage. This is not good, Athena. Our claim is that is this close to being beaten to a pulp.
I know, but we've come so far.
Consider yourself schooled. I couldn't have possibly killed anyone. The killer is none other than Juniper Woods. It always has been and it always will be.
Just wait a minute.
Poor Juniper. She must seriously regret having asked you to defend her. And to add insult to injury, you nearly had Hugh convicted for murder. Surely you haven't forgotten that little fiasco.
Ah!
Not only did you fail to defend your client, you also raised false charges against her friend. You have no right to call yourself a lawyer.
Ah!
But if this trial proceeds in the same manner and ends in the same way as the mock trial, would you not lose everything you've worked so hard to gain?
Well, I'll just have to make sure that doesn't happen then, won't I? Don't tell me I failed once again. Failed to save someone near and dear to me. I've worked so hard to become a lawyer and even studied psychology. Has it all been for naught? Am I just doomed to relive that all over again?
Athena, what's wrong?
Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Relax, Athena. Breathe. It's not working. Everything's going dark. After all I've done, is this how it ends? Forgive me, June. I couldn't protect you like I said I would. You leave Athena alone, man! She's the one who saved me! It was because of Athena that I could stop hiding and start living my life as a girl again. And she saved the friendship between Hugh, Juniper, and I. I think you're an awesome lawyer, Athena. One of the best. But I raised false charges against you. And that's not all. I've done some seriously unforgivable things.
What's the big deal? False charges are nothing to be scared of. And I'm not even mad at you. I should really be thanking you. You used legitimate means to expose my wrongdoings and give me a chance to re-examine what's important.
But what does it matter if I can't save Juniper? I mean, the whole reason I've come so far is... It's not over yet, Athena. Even now, at this very moment, I still believe in you. Junie, I know you better than most people, Athena. And I know you never surrendered to the dark age of the law like the professor did. Thank you, Junie, but I feel like I can barely breathe. I don't know what to do.
Silence!
Stop your bleating this instant! You look an utter fool.
Prosecutor Blackwell?
There is one who awaits you, is there not? And that is the reason you have studied so very hard. Are you prepared to give up on all you have worked for thus far? It would not do to have you disappoint you-know-who.
You're wasting your time. You have nothing on me. No evidence or anything else to establish my guilt. You are helpless before the might of lawyers for whom the end justifies the means.
Objection!
Don't worry, Athena. You're doing fine. The truth will always win against people like him.
But Apollo, what am I supposed to do now?
Listen, all you have to do is take a deep breath and look back over the entire case. If there's truth to be found, and there always is, you're sure to find it. Now, let me see you smile. Remember what Mr. Wright said? The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles.
Thanks, everyone. You don't have to worry about me now. The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. Athena Sykes is psyched and ready to rock. Prepare for your utter defeat. Professor Court wasn't killed in the art room. She was killed right where her body was found. We know because there wasn't any time to move the body there from somewhere else. That means the body had to have been hidden somewhere on stage until it was found. Let's think along these lines and see where it takes us. First up, when did Professor Means remove the body from its hiding place? Well, let's see. What was he doing right before the body was discovered? He was using the span of time his fake alibi created to move the body to where it would be more easily spotted. Therefore, the only time Professor Means could have removed the body from its hiding place is... It was during the mock trial, specifically... Professor Means moved the body to an easily seen location during his long pre-recorded speech. The professor also moved something to the stage that wasn't there before, specifically... During the mock trial, Professor Means wrapped the White Lady Justice in the school banner and sent it zipping down to the stage with a crash, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. He drew attention to the body and made it look like the murder occurred in the art room. But was there anywhere to hide a body on that stage? It doesn't seem likely. No, there had to be someplace. Wait a second. How about something that should have been finished but was only mostly done? Something was used to cover the body up, but it didn't draw undue attention because it looked like it belonged there on stage. In that way, no one would suspect there was a body hidden inside. What was already on the stage and complete and capable of concealing the body? Oh, I know! The Mr. Right statue was never actually finished! The body was wrapped under some cloth to hide what was really inside, cleverly disguising it as the boss's statue! Miss Newman gave up on the Right statue, yet Professor Means finished it in a single night.
Yes, what an impressive feat that was.
Objection!
No, his so-called work of art deserves none of our praise. That's because it was only a facade to hide his real work. The murder of Professor Court.
Come again? I'm afraid I don't follow.
He hid the body by making it look like the statue of Mr. Right. With the body wrapped under a piece of cloth, it looked just like a statue.
What?
I second that what?
Now this is getting interesting. No! This is getting preposterous! How would such a thing even be possible?
Objection!
We'll never know until we try.
Uh-oh. I think I know where this is going.
Okay, Apollo, time to turn me into a reasonable likeness of Mr. Right. I'm going to pose like the statue, like so. And now, I want you to wrap me up in a cloth so that I look like a statue.
I hate to ask the obvious, but where am I supposed to get this magical cloth? I'm afraid that this isn't the right color, Mr. Justice. Well, given how sudden the request was, it's kind of the best I could do, Your Honor. Alright, I think that about does it.
Well, what do you think, everyone? Do I look just like a statue of Mr. Right or what?
Looks like some random person to me. Weren't the statues a pair of busts?
Phoenix Wright has that spiky hair on the back of his head.
Forget the hair. The statue's head is way bigger than your average person's anyway. You gotta hand it to me for trying anyway. Wait, that's it! The hands! Her arms are raised over her head and there are dark bruises around her wrists.
Yeah, the professor was probably tied up with something.
The marks on her wrist indicated she'd been tied up. Apollo, tie me up in a new pose. Wait, you're not into this kind of thing, are you?
What? No! Besides, it was your idea! Just tell me how to tie your hands already.
Professor Court's wrists were tied together, and I can't help but think that's related. How should I arrange myself to match the shape I want, given her hands were tied? Apollo, tie both of my hands behind my head. See? This makes it possible to fake the spikes on the back of Mr. Wright's head.
Sure, but then what about the statue's arm? With both arms behind your head, you can't exactly complete the pose.
Yeah, it would be awfully hard to make the objection pose like this.
I can't help thinking you've forgotten something, Athena. Something on the body that you don't have right now.
What did the victim's body have that I don't?
Take that!
Oh, right! There's an arrow sticking out of her side. Okay, Apollo, take that and plunge it into my side.
What, are you crazy?
Fine, then go get some duct tape. Rapido, schnell!
Alright. I don't need to know other languages to know bossy when I hear it.
The fatal arrow to the side. Spiky hair created from two hands. A masterpiece in the making. Now cover me with that cloth. But remember to make the arrow stand out, okay? Mommy, the arm's too short. Shh! Remember your indoor voice here?
Nobody's buying it. The arrow's nowhere near long enough.
But... What else could you use for the arm?
Still won't give up, eh? I must commend you, if only for your spirit and determination.
Of course she's not giving up. After all she's put me through, she owes me an explanation, and one that makes sense. Now, disappoint me again, the penalty will be doubly painful.
Yikes! I guess I better get it right this time. Think, Athena, think. Professor Court was murdered when she stopped by the stage to see Professor Means. If it wasn't premeditated, he must have used something close at hand in his little ruse. Apollo, show me those stage setup photos again.
Like that? Right now? Okay, hold on.
Please, 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 please be in this photo. It just has to be. The arm on the Mr. Right statue is really this right here.
Take that!
Got it! I know what he used for the arm on the statue of Mr. Right.
This is absurd! There is no such thing in this photo!
Don't play dumb with me, Professor. It's the staff you have right there.
Staff, this is the spear of a great legal warrior!
Whatever, just hurry up and lend it to me. The length is perfect. Mr. Right couldn't possibly object to such an awesome arm. Okay, go for it, Apollo.
Sure, I'll give your arm a hand. Cloth and binding coming right up.
Objection!
It's Phoenix Wright!
Look, it's that famous lawyer.
That's definitely him.
I'd know that pose anywhere.
We did it! Didn't we?
Well, am I not the spitting image of the legendary Phoenix Wright? The man who will bring us out of these dark ages and into an era of brilliant golden light.
Golden light. All I see before me
Is the pink specter of a man.
That's just because Mr. Wright likes his statue. He's positively tickled pink. Get it, Apollo? He's tickled pink.
Blah, that joke deserves a pink slip. It seems the gallery is quite impressed with the defense's sharp thinking. And the witness?
Bah! The resemblance is nothing more than a coincidence.
Objection!
Not so fast there, Buster. Unfortunately for you, I can prove my theory to be more than mere coincidence. To prove that his spear was thrust into the victim, all I have to do is... We had assumed the victim's jagged wound came from the arrow being forcibly shoved in. But if the wound was from this spear instead, then we should be able to detect traces of the victim's blood on it.
Your Honor, a brief recess, if you will. By any means possible. What if I get rid of my spear? Wait, what if I burn it? If I do that, I'll be found innocent. Yes, I'm innocent, I tell you.
Objection!
Surely don't expect us to take lectures from you now. Now, I ask you in the gallery. Help me decide the professor's fate.
Prosecutor Blackwell, what has become of our witness, Aristotle Means?
It is as Sykes-Stoner suspected. Blood was detected on his staff. He has admitted to this heinous crime, all of it. He shall join us in the clink tomorrow. His teaching skills can be put to good use there.
Great, he'll teach felons that the end justifies the means. So much for rehabilitation.
Can I ask what the professor's motive was?
I could barely make out a word he said on account of his shattered teeth.
One of Blackwell's fellow inmates was once a surgeon. Why not a former dentist, too?
I eventually had him put pen to paper. It turns out Professor Means was the one taking bribes. The victim had suspected him after a report from the class snitch. That led her to question him at length the day of the killing, right there on that stage. The result? The heinous crime that was brought before this court. The fool, like Newman, had come to know of the script's contents via the victim's note. It seems he came up with a plan to stab the victim with her own awl in order to make the killing look like the one in the script and thus frame the defendant.
But that scrap of paper with Hugh's name had the same mark as Professor Court's planner.
Yes, about that. Those planners are bestowed upon all students graduating at the top of their class.
Really? So then...
Indeed. Once upon a time, Professor Means was also awarded the same notebook. The handwriting is being analyzed now, but like as not, the scrap belonged to him. This, too, was evidence of the bribery scheme that the victim had obtained. Know that Constance Court was clean, and that only Aristotle Means took the bribes.
To think a professor would murder a colleague, then try to pin it on a student. If this is the dark age of the law, then we can only hope that a brighter future awaits. And the first step is to hand down my verdict for a promising young lady. This court finds the defendant, Juniper Woods. I wish you all the best on your road to becoming a courtroom judge. We will need young people like you if we ever hope to restore the law to its former glory.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll work as hard as I can. Maybe one day I'll be able to work with all of you to make a difference.
Proudly serve Professor Court's memory. Do not let her death be in vain.
That's the last thing I expected to hear from him today.
Court is adjourned.
Thank you, Thena. I really mean it. It was nothing, really. I can take the biggest tangled mess of a case and unravel it just like that.
I don't know. You looked pretty wound up there at the end. Literally and figuratively.
You look pretty hungry for a knuckle sandwich, Buster. I wanted to thank you too, Apollo.
Don't mention it.
The way you were always there for Thena when she was in a bind. And at the detention center, where your smile gave me hope when there was none. It was like the warm rays of the sun shining down on peaceful woodlands. I think you're an absolutely amazing person.
Thanks, Juniper. It means a lot to me. But I still have lots of work to do, and I can't wait. I can't wait until we see you on the judge's bench.
I promise you, I'll get there someday. That's why until that day, I'll... Guys, I got some big news! I mean, this is huge! Oh, am I interrupting something? No, it's okay, I think. So, what's the big news? The school festival! It was supposed to have been canceled after what happened, but...
We just got a call. In memory of Professor Constance Court, who worked so hard to make it happen, the festival is being extended one extra day until tomorrow.
Really? All right!
We've got a special treat for all of you. A love letter for Themis Legal Academy. Achtung, baby. It's time for the Guitar Serenade.
Wow, that was so much fun! School festivals are amazing! I think you and Robin are getting a little carried away. Ah, your singing voice, Juniper! It can melt my H-E-A-R-T!
Mr. Wright, thank you for that training seminar. Just remember, the objection pose is all about attitude. Oh, and congrats on your mock trial win. Although Robin had you for a while there.
I did, didn't I? But I'm just glad we're back to how we used to be, thanks to Athena. And you know what? I think I'll stick with becoming a prosecutor after all. I'm going to make up for my mock trial loss by winning the real deals in court. Mock trial loss? What loss? Wait, did they reprise the trial and you won? Level-headed lawyer course genius and hot-blooded prosecutor course student will go head-to-head in a mock trial battle for the She-Devil's Black Heart. So, does this mean it's really gonna happen?
Juniper, there's something I've been wanting to say to you.
Huh? Ooh, is he going to do what I think he is?
Juniper, can we still be friends? You know, best friends like we've always been?
Huh? Best friends? Hugh, weren't you going to profess your love for Juniper if you won the mock trial?
No, I was going to confess that I'm not a genius and that I'm really 25 years old. But you already dragged it out of me during the trial.
Whoops! Listen, Hugh. You too, Robin. Miriam. Me too? Miriam's got this tactful espionage action stuff down to a science.
More Metal Gear references.
I've been thinking. It's up to us to put an end to the dark age of the law if we can. Let's all work together to usher in a new age where winning only results from the truth. And the end never justifies the means. Count me in!
I wouldn't have it any other way. Best friends forever, huh? No matter what anyone says, nothing beats true friendship.
You bet! And what about your BFF, Apollo?
Aren't you a bit too old to be using that word? But yeah, he's the best friend a guy could have. Which reminds me, we're supposed to meet up and gossip about the new girl in the office.
Hey, no talking about me behind my back! So, what kind of guy is he anyway?
Well, if I had to describe him in one word...
And so, after some slight arm twisting, Apollo promised to bring me to meet his friend. Unfortunately, that promise was never meant to be fulfilled. For not long after, their friendship was mercilessly severed by fate. And the bonds between us began to fray and unravel as well.
Sorry, but I'll be taking a leave of absence.
Even now, those words continue to ring in my ears. The discord in our ever-cheerful Apollo's voice made him sound so cold and distant. Why, Apollo? Why? Why would you leave us all behind?
And that will be that. I'm very annoyed that there was a silent break, especially while I wasn't here to do anything about it. Though I've never been able to do anything about it before. But I suppose it could have been worse if it had fractured a third time. Right then. Just adjust my monitors again. Yeah, why not Paranorma again? She's doing her very first Legend of Zelda game, Wind Waker. Give her a little support. All right. We've arrived at our destination. Please watch your step as you disembark. Please follow if you liked. Thanks for watching. Peace be with you, and may the forces of evil be confused on the way to your home. Bye.